Hola, amigos. We're over here in the sunny Costa del Sol with the UK Grappling legend, Chris Thompson. He's invited us over to train at the gym today. We're going to have a nice chat with him about Grapplefest, about his history, how he got to where he's getting, what he's doing over in this shithole. Chris, thanks very much for having us on, mate.
Thank you.
So you've been about forever and a day, probably longer than most people in the UK scene. How did you get here?
Years, I think, we're together.
What started you off?
I mean, I've always been doing contact combat sports, things like that. Rugby, boxing, MMA, grappling, wrestling. Done it all really over the years. I just enjoy it as a keep fit thing, and initially I enjoy fighting, competing. These days I really just enjoy coaching and just get stuck in and training with the lads once a day.
When did you first start training?
It's around 2005, properly, seriously. I've said it before, I've done some bits of wrestling and stuff when I was a kid, and I played rugby and stuff, but nothing serious. I played rugby at a decent level, gave that up, and I had those few years where you're not doing a lot, I was still in the gym training, playing a bit of footy, things like that, but nothing ever grabbed me. Nothing really, I was watching the UFC, 28, 29, I fancy go at that, and sort of go. Found a little gym to get into, and then that was it. Then I started training, and I literally never stopped.
So did you start off with MMA before you were grappling?
Well, I wanted to do MMA. I could box already.
Right.
I mean, did a bit of kickboxing. I couldn't kickbox really well. Still can't. I'm not built for that. And then I wanted to get into the grappling. And then I was in a gym. I was actually Torremolinos in the gym, and they were rolling around, walking through the window, and then I was doing some weights and stuff in there. Go at that, I spoke to one of the guys, and then it started on the Monday, and I was like, I've been training since then.
So you started off in Spain?
Started off, I lived over in Spain, around 2004, 2008 here. And I started there, and then basically went back to the UK in 2008. I was there till 11 years to 2019, and came over full time 2019. So then I went back and trained at HW, Coliseum. Stuff there in Tilsley, Jack Mountain, there were some boys there, Chris Nogan, Chris Posse. And it's went back around, and I've just not stopped training, been coaching nearly 15 years now. That coaching pretty early doors because I wasn't really anyone doing it back then, so I wasn't trying to be the coach of the club, but it was just for me to get extra training, and I started doing some coaching with complete novices and beating them up and dancing around them.
So when you first started out grappling, was it jiu-jitsu you were training, or wrestling, or?
It was a bit of everything. I've always done a bit of everything. It's over here they were more like a jiu-jitsu, and they were doing I just come to the no-gi classes, and then occasionally they'd say put a gi on because you're going to come over. You've got to put. So I think I did 1 week to do a gi, even if it was 1 week, maybe 2 weeks. It was really minimal because I wanted to do MMA. And then when I went back to the UK, it was all just. I don't even like the term no-gi, it's just submission grappling. I hate it, but I end up saying it because it's become a common term, hasn't it? But it was all just sort of just wrestling. It was mainly because it was from Lancashire and where I'm from, it was just submission wrestling. It was very heavily wrestling. My game was still very heavy wrestling based. It wasn't until about 2013 or something when I went back doing a bit of gi and put a purple and I decided I'm going to try and play some guard. So for the sort of 8-9 years before that, I was just wrestling on top, get on top, stay on top, and that was it for me. Now I try and do everything. I think, in terms of submission grappling, incorporates, I'm saying, Chris Thompson said exactly the same thing, and I've said this for years. Once you take the gi off, it's not jiu-jitsu. It's submission wrestling or submission grappling, and that's been along way longer than anyone's putting any gis on Japanese uniforms, isn't it? That's been around since real.
Of course. Beginning of time.
Yeah, beginning of time. Still, they say it's the oldest sport, and I've not delved into it far enough. I'm pretty sure it is. So as soon as that comes off, I'm just doing submission grappling to it. And all the arts, Greco, freestyle, catch, jiu-jitsu, judo, it's all the same thing. It's separated by a uniform and segments. But all the movements, everything you do is pretty much the same. Your grips are different, like if you did a classic judo stuff in what we call grappling, and you threw them and you rolled yourself, you get back to it, you get choked out. So it doesn't end, it carries on, doesn't it, when you're on the floor. So I've just tried to take the best parts of all those different things that I'm training and put them together for submission grappling, and that's what I like, is submission grappling. Without the gi, anything goes, sort of, just trying to submit each other. That's it. So that's where I train for.
And you've taken that really into Grapplefest. So Grapplefest, why do you think Grapplefest? Because there's loads and loads of invitational and superfight cards or whatever you want to call them. everywhere now. Everybody's doing one every other weekend. Why did Grapplefest take?
I think because of that, there was a few shows knocking around, loads of competitions doing IBJF, rules gear, no gear, all this stuff. And it's like, that's not what I do in the gym. I don't do, so when I went and did an IBJF rules comp or something like that, I had to change the way grappling. I don't grapple like that. So I just said, I want to make it like you do in the gym, where if you get a reversal or you get a sweep or that, you don't get penalised for it as long as you then, from the other position you're in, are constantly attacking. And I think the rules that we wrote, which we've never changed in the 6 years now, so the 6 years, 6.5 years, I think, and we've never changed it. It stayed the same, and it works. I think people like it.
Yes, definitely.
I think that's what it is.
Of all so you've been doing the cards for a long time, but just before COVID, I know you had some big names planned. Things changed.
Gordon Ryan put for that one. I've been the first one to get him over. That was a bit of a shame.
Have you not managed to get any interest in him again?
No, it's like ridiculous. And he was big money then.
Yeah.
But I think we could have just about done it, but now it's like 5 times more, probably more. It was just like, I couldn't afford it.
Would he be, and if so, who would you put him up against? If you could put anyone on the card?
That's the thing, he's basically clearing everyone out, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Like, the only one who really gave him a decent match that time was Bushesha, I think, really. His last hard match, wasn't it? And then I don't think he gave it to anyone, hasn't he? And he's interested in that, but he's cleared it out. He's supposed to have the super fight with Yuri, isn't he? Yuri's a tough guy. He's been over here actually training, a really nice guy. But I think Gordon, if he does get fit, I don't know what he's going on.
That's the problem.
You don't know what's happening. If he does, I think he can win anyone when he's done. If he comes back like he was.
I know Merigali seems to be coming up behind him, but people have said he's doing Gordon in the gym, but he said, I'm absolutely not.
Yeah,
no, I'm not.
And also, they're not going to compete being teammates. Unless they fall out, unless they do a Craig Jones and they split and they go, then they might do, but then I can't see them ever fighting. They seem to be settled.
Yeah, they seem to be right in a minute. Yeah. So, out in Spain, you've settled in now?
Yep.
What brought you out here?
I've been coming here for a long, long time. Over my mum and dad actually live in Rockford down the coast. That's so initially was coming out, seeing them. They've been here since about 2000, so 25 years nearly, something like that. So I've been coming out here for ages. Got a house here a while back. I was living here for a bit, but it's been the plan to get back. With Brexit coming up and stuff like that, and the residential and all this sort of things that you needed, we just made the decision, me and my wife, and we got ourselves over here and settled in, got sorted for it all, went pear-shaped. And then, like I said, COVID turned up then. About 6 months later, I thought I'd made the wrong decision because they locked us up pretty much and stuck in the house. It wasn't like the UK. But then now I can settle that down. It's pretty much nice. It's nice tranquil lifestyle.
How did you end up here? So we've been to this club today. We've been to see belt ceremonies, fantastic. We did a little bit of wrestling training. The lads had a big open mat. Standards unbelievable. How did you end up coaching here?
Yeah, it's very, very high level. San Sierra's, fantastic grappler, really, well, 2-time ADCC European Trials champions off the Worlds getting in August over there with him. And basically, because it wasn't too far away from me, and I knew him, so I sent him a message saying, all right, coming in, blah, blah, blah. And then at the time, he was looking to start to put some more classes on, and pretty much after I've been here for a couple of months, I think we started I do the 10 AM no-gi sessions, and we started, I think it was in the December or the January, and I've pretty much only been here a few months, and started then. Picking up running great, and obviously in March the world exploded, and for 6 months things were a bit of an up and down and mess, but then even though it was harsher restrictions here in the first place, we got out much quicker than they did, so that we had people coming over here to train us all the time, loads of guys from Ireland, and we had even new passports and stuff, people coming. Molly McCann came over here, she come and stayed with me for a few months, because she couldn't train in the UK, so she came over and stayed, just get a training, and it built from there. But I think we've just, Santiago's put a lot of effort into the young guys, and we've got some exceptional young kids coming through and seeing them today.
Yeah.
20 years old, brown belts. We've got one who's 17, she's got his purple today. He's submitting people all over black belts in the ACC trials. So they're coming through, he's built a good squad. But even the guys who are just hobbyists here can hard.
Yeah.
We know it's tough open mats, tough classes every day. It's just, it's 5 classes a day on gi, no gi.
Is everything centered around the training of the coaches, all centered around competition style?
It's not, because it's a very heavy competition gym. Got a lot of people compete and stuff, but there's also, I think in every gym, there's way more people who are hobbyists. I don't like the term hobbyist, but it's just like another thing that's become mainstream. For most people, it's you turn up, you want to do some rounds, you want to train 3 times a week. You just want to get in, learn some cool shit, get a few rounds and go home. You can see misses, you see kids, all that. Most people have got jobs, haven't they? But the guys who are professionals, so to speak, who are training, training every day. They've got fantastic training. If you look at it now, when I started, it's just different. The level of instruction they've got, the classes they can go to. I remember starting, it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it was like an hour, and then that was all you could sort of get really. Now it's like there's 5 classes a day in this gym.
What was the format of training like when you very first started? Was it, so obviously Jiu-Jitsu's evolved over the years from being a completely self-defense discipline to now it's very sportive. What were you doing in the beginning?
It was a bit of a mix of both. I've had to do all those things where you do the defend my zombie punch. I've had to do all that in the past years ago, but then it was pretty much brawling. But back then, I say this to people, we'd spend like 6 months on doing an armbar or a triangle. You'd just be doing the same thing over and over, a couple of different setups and stuff like that. Nowadays, there's kids that are coming in at the time of white and blue belts, they can pretty much do everything, but we just weren't getting taught it. I think the training was a bit tougher and rougher back then. It was, because the sparring was really brutal. But I think, I've said this before, it's more because I don't think the skill level was as high. Now, considering that I don't think there's anything new under the sun, like you said, the technique, but it was. I don't think the teaching was as good. Now people learn to be really good coaches, and I think and plus there's just more and more people doing it. It's just got bigger, isn't it?
It's massive now.
It's huge now, yeah.
Do you think, obviously, it's grown so much, and the levels are very different. You're training in a really high level gym here, but you can go to another gym with black belt instructors that, the black belts here would probably get hammered by the blue belts there. That sort of thing. And it's like,
very much so, yeah.
Does that affect grappling as a whole? Is that a negative effect for the whole thing? Or?
If you're on the mats, I think it's a good thing, whatever you do. Where it can become a bad thing is that people aren't open to, like here, Sensei is like, completely open to anyone coming into the gym. People coming from all over, and I'm not exaggerating, every single week I have visitors in my class who are just people there for a few days. If they've come on a training, I'll be open for training holidays all the time for the whole week. People just turn up on holiday, half pissed, just jump in the open mat, I was out last night and they come on, but they love it, so we've got visits all the time, and I think that does bring you on as well, in case you're going. But I think if you've got those closed gyms where you can't spar with anyone else, you've got to stay within it, then you're only you live in this little tiny bubble, and you're not going to get any better at the techniques and you only know what your coach knows, and you're missing out on such a huge variety of techniques and training partners and things like that. So I think Europe's really taken on, especially the you guys have really taken it on to now to start cross training, and because we were way behind the Americans, especially the Brazilians. And I think we still are in the gi in Europe, but I think in no gi in Europe, I think it's it's on the same sort of level. Whenever I go to America and want to train there, I don't think the standard of people is any higher than here. It's just it's more open. So say at one gym, we have 4 good guys here, they've got 20.
Right.
So that's just
and is that just longevity, you think?
I think so. I think it was another 10, 15 years here, or standard in Europe, because you've got to look at Europe as a whole, really, haven't you? Because there's only as many people are doing, as there is in sort of America and Brazil, as they've got their population's huge, isn't it? But if you put it together, then I think we're England, Poland, the French are getting good now. Countries that weren't really known for Italy, places like that, there's decent standard in all of them now, so I think we're getting better.
Grapplefest, obviously, people don't wear the gi. I'm trying to avoid saying no gi, people don't wear the gi.
It says on it, submission grappling.
Yeah.
It's Grapplefest submission grappling. It doesn't mention jiu-jitsu because it's open to every style. I say that when I put posts out, I say, we just done the prelims, and say, I'm looking at purple belt and above, or same level in any of the grappling arch or something like that.
So you've got that, you've also got ABCC, same situation. Yeah. IBJJF, really probably the only big tournaments where people are wearing gi. Not the best spectator sports.
No, I don't think gi's great for spectator. I mean, there's a lot of skill. I joke about the gi and say it's not for me. But the standards, what you watch on the mat, the black belt and stuff is fantastic. But it's not a great spectator sport because it's very slow, very technical. This tiny little grip that somebody's doing, the spectator won't notice. That's what the whole match can become about. This tiny grip that's underneath in the lapel, and people can't spectate. Because no gi is pretty easy. And when you say to people, it's the floor work in the UFC, they go, it's arm bars and stuff like that. So
it'd be hard for you to really quantify it, but you think Grapplefest draws in a crowd of people that maybe aren't grapplers?
We've 100% had loads of people said to us, they've been either say wives or husbands or whatever, who've come, or girlfriends, boyfriends, who've come to watch it with them, or they're watching, and they said, "Oh, a brilliant night! In a nightclub, there's music booming, there's beer, drinks getting sold. People have gone and had a good night, whatever." So that was the goal.
So do you think there is a market?
I think there is.
A spectator market.
I think there is. I mean, look at it now. There's people watching the UFC now who I never thought would watch it. Friends of mine from school, for 10, 15 years, I've really spoken to or seen much of them, but I've got them on social media, and they'll send me a message about it, saying, "Oh, did you watch that one last night?" And I'm thinking, wow, there's no way on earth I thought you'd ever be watching UFC, and they are doing so. I'm like, well, if they're watching that, then hopefully there'll be the progression. I've had 2 or 3 people, not many, because I never push it on friends or anything, who've seen me compete in years ago, seen this, and say, "I wouldn't mind a go at that," and that's just turned up, done it, and they're still now. I've got a couple of them coming up for black belts and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, the brown belts and things, and they've been training through it, and they're just like, well, I only did it because I saw you on social media doing it.
Brilliant.
It's pretty cool, that.
So competing for you, when did you start competing?
Pretty much straight away. I think I was first company was like 2005, 2006, doing no-gi comps then. First one I ever used in Seville, actually. No-gi comp up there, so I pretty much got stuck into that straight away. Then I was into the MMA and stuff. I'm not competing now. I've competed once in 4 years. I was 8 because I've had 3 back surgeries and 2 knee surgeries in the last 4 years. And I did really, everyone said, "Oh, you've been injured," or I did really well for it. I've never had any real major injuries or problems, and then I don't know whether it's COVID stuff or whatever, my body just sort of gave up and collapsed. I've had a few surgeries. I've done 1 comp since I've been over here. It was the Andalusian Championships, which I won that one, so I've been that one. But then my back just completely gave in, so I had some surgery. But yeah, I pretty much started straight away. I mean, I enjoy it. Some people don't. I never pushed any of my students in PE. I never said to them, you need to, you've got to. But I liked it, so it's just something I enjoyed.
And what about, so you started off grappling to get into MMA. How soon did you get into MMA?
Yeah, pretty much straight away. I was having fights straight away when I had no business being in there. It was terrible. I could throw a few punches and stuff. I won my first one really quick, and I thought that was easy. And the next one I got absolutely smoked by a guy who just took me down, smoked me, mounted me, armbarred me, and I was just like, I need to get into the grappling. It's a shame really, because I wish I was that age now, but knew what I knew now.
Yeah.
I could just kill people, but it's just, but back then everyone was pretty crap. You got man on somebody, it was pretty much game over. You'd either ground and pound or you'd armbar, and it was, people, you didn't really know what to do. There was some very good high level guys, his Bisping and stuff was in there. I think he was in there. Ultimate Fight was that 2006 something like that?
Around about then, yeah, season 3.
There was a good scene, there was some good guys, but there's only a very, very few, very few. So the majority of amateur and professional fights going on back then had no business being called professional fights.
I heard you talk on another podcast about the water cuts you were doing.
Yeah, mental. These were crazy, stupid ones. We got this information off a lot of them coming off the wrestling guys, and a lot from America and stuff out to cut them. It became like a competition to try and cut as much weight as you can. I was doing like 10 keys and stuff. It was just mental.
In what period?
Oh, and I'd do that in like a couple of days. And walk because there's no food. Salt baths, saunas, sweat baths. Ridiculous. I'm nearly killing myself. I wouldn't do it now.
Do you think there's a negative to that? In that we do have that day before weigh-in, so that's where the loophole comes, and that's why we can do it.
Yeah, it's a real shame, isn't it? I mean, it's that period when Frankie Edgar was like not cutting any weight, wasn't it? He was beating everyone up, he was struggling, and I thought that might change it a little bit, but now it seems to be back to. But if you don't cut weight, you're tiny. Yeah. So it's sort of like you're all doing it, and I'm just like, well, why don't you just
change it for everybody? Yeah, just do it the same day, we'll all go up a weight class.
It seems to be part of.
Do you think it adds to, obviously, there's no way you can really be back to full hydration when you're fighting?
Weight cuts. I mean, if you look at the ones that ONE FC are doing them where you've got it, I don't know how far out it is, but they weigh you at a certain point, don't they? And then you weigh in, and then the next day you can only put on, is it 10%, something like that?
I'm not sure.
I think it is something like you can, and otherwise they fine you, and if you've got too big and stuff. So I think they're having a go at it, but I don't really understand it completely.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it'd be a lot easier.
It's just
because boxing, isn't it?
It's just bollocks, really, isn't it? You're not really as heavy as you say you are. You manage to trick the scales because you're heavier than you say you are.
I've had fights from weighing in at 70 kg, and I'm like 93 kg or something now. I'm heavier now, but back then I'd be walking on 84 or something, and then I'd diet down to like 78 or something like this, and then I'd put the rest in water, and the next day I'd be 80 odd kg again. When you're like, I've just put 11, 12 kg, mostly sitting water.
Yeah.
It's like that's like 25 pounds or something. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So I know Grapplefest has been growing. When did you first start? Which first show?
The first show we set it up 2017, me and Darren. That was when the idea got everything sorted. And the first show we did was, I think it was in March 2018.
And since then, so you started off in Liverpool, was that Fusion?
Yeah, we've been in the same one all the time. Yeah. I used to like do doors and stuff like that. And that was one of the clubs that I was running. And the guy who owns it's a mate of mine, so he sort of set it up. There's a couple of boxing shows in there, and he kept saying, "If we do an MMA event next," I've done some bit of MMA promotion. I said, "I'm not really into that now. We're just doing the grappling." And we said, "Come on, let's have a go." And we did it, and it was just instant success. The first one, everyone loved it. Everyone loved the venue, and it's grown. We've done 19 shows now, so yeah.
So who have been the best names you've had on those shows, do you think?
We've had everyone. We've had so many good players. We've had Craig Jones on, had the Rutulos on, all the Daisy Fresh guys, Dante Leon. God, it's like there's just loads of them. You know, we've had all the new wave guys have been over. Everyone apart from Gordon, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't say who's been my favourite. There's so many good matches.
Do you get the majority of you guys coming from jiu-jitsu, or is there?
Pretty much most people are these days. Yeah, we've had a few judo guys. No, I had Lucy on when he was on first. Yeah, I think he did have from B, but he was still big into the judo and stuff. Then I got him on. I think he did have. I think he was like maybe a purple or a brown, maybe. But I think he just did it once or twice a week when he was living down in Camberley. So I got him. No one had even heard of him when I got him on. I'd known him from back.
That's where I first heard of him.
I know him from back at home. Yeah, you know, he's from St Helens, out from Lampscourt, just down the road, and we trained a bit together. Back, sort of knew each other, not dead well, but we knew each other well enough. And I just thought we had a pull out, and I just I pinged him a little message, and he was well up for it. So yeah, and then got him on first time.
Good lad, isn't he?
Yeah, got him on. I did a couple of shows with us. Unfortunately, he signed with Polaris, not exclusive, so it's not. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame.
So you're not just tied to Liverpool then?
No. We've. I mean, I've been asked so many times about doing shows. I've looked at Spain when there was COVID, which was on. I've looked at other places. I've looked at moving around the venues. For me, I love Fusion because everything's set up. I can literally set that show up in less than 24 hours. It can be set up and doing it. If you go to other venues, you can, the biggest thing is your internet connection is really perfect for the stream. You can have everything done, everything runs there. We did a show abroad in Mauritius, which was a bit crazy. Did that one, but then I'm just taking over the ADTC for Gibraltar, which is just down the road. And I've just been down to the venue last week. Got the venue sorted. Just waiting to basically over there because everything's owned by the government, so I've just basically got to get accepted by them. But it's pretty much done. But it's one of those places that you can't rush it. It's like Manana, even Gibraltar is own Manana, so it's a little bit. I'm just waiting for the hit the boxes and get it all done. It's done. So hopefully we get a couple of those in this year as well.
Brilliant. So being around as long as you've been, you've seen obviously highs, you've seen lows, and you've seen new things come in, things go away. What now, modern jiu-jitsu grappling, is lost from what was there when you were starting out?
I don't think any much has been lost. What I've really noticed, especially the last few years, is people are starting to see all these wrestling techniques and riding and pins, and people are talking about that now, where they didn't used to. It was all about the guard and playing guard, and this is you have to play in the gi and you have to do all this. Now they're starting to use all these things, but a lot of the people coming through think this is like a new technique for them. I'm like, mate, this is stuff's been around forever. I'll do little things, using half ouches and chin straps and front headlock stuff and things like that. People think, this newfangled technique. I'm like, this is older than anything. There's only so many ways you can manipulate the human body, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's so many ways you can do it. You're not making things all like dual wrist locks, kimuras and stuff like that. They've been around forever. It's a staple, but I'm really noticing people starting to incorporate that in, where it used to be all about pulling guard, and now it's like people want to stand up, and I'm actually pleased that they're doing it. It's good, but makes it harder for me to get my game going now.
Yeah,
I didn't need to know what I was doing. but it's cool because any competition is good, isn't it?
What different waves have you seen? Obviously, we've just come out of we've just seen the big leg lock revolution, which is now fading off again, and people are going back to passing guard again.
I remember like 2008, 2009, a guy called Dave Thornton, who's a really good wrestler as well. He taught me loads of leg locks then, and I just used to leg lock everyone. Guys who were well better than me could get them in leg locks and stuff, and people would be worried about them. Then we had this big explosion. Now leg locks like completely. And don't get me wrong, all the stuff, all the finishes and everything's exactly the same. What they do each time and they come round in waves is the entries and stuff get a little bit better. The setups get better. The stuff that I was learning, I've not seen that, but the finish and everything's always the same. I think some people have gone a little too heavy on it because the one, and that's all they've got in the game. is I'm really glad that I learned the leg locks, but I'm really glad that I learned all the basics as well first and spent a lot of time on those, because there's guys and I see in gyms or I see in competition, they can leg lock black belts, and blue belts and stuff like that, but get someone who can stuff them and they pass the guard, they can't even retrieve, they can't even get back, they can't get up on top, they're losing the leg lock battle, they don't know how to wrestle, they don't know how to, so I think people should keep the basics up as well. It's all right being able to do some super high level stuff, but if you haven't got a solid game behind it, then it's like anything. It's not going to work, is it? In any sport like this, isn't it? I think.
So belts and stuff. Talking about blue belts and black belts. You took quite a long time.
Yeah, a long time.
To get to your black belt. Why is that?
Because basically I wasn't training the gi. I went back training gear for 2013, 2014, something like that. I went through the belts pretty quick, but if you look at that, I've been training for nearly 10 years, 9 years by then. So I've pretty much done a shift where most people are getting towards a black belt at 10, I was still a blue belt. I think I was a blue belt for nearly 7 years.
Really?
Yeah, and they gave me, and I never really trained the game, but they just gave me a blue belt because I was beating all the other white belts. So they just gave me a blue belt. And then I went back, and then for about 4 or 5 years, I did a lot, I was doing more gi. I think I was doing like, say, 4 gi sessions a week, 2 no gi sessions a week, something like that, because I could do no gi standing on my head, So I went doing it because I wanted to learn and go for the belts. And it's because I was having a gym. It's this thing, if you've got to be legitimate, which is sad, really. But if you look at mine took me 14 years or something to get. I'm like coming up for 2nd degree now in a couple of months, so it'll be 6 years I've got my black belt. Darren Morris, trained for over 35 years. He got his black belt on the same day as me.
Really?
Which is ridiculous because he's like the best grappler I know, best mind, unbelievable on the mat. Because he hadn't bothered himself.
Wasn't bothered about
it.
it.
He's been a judo black belt for 20 odd years, 25 years.
I know it was more like that anyway. Even if you were training the Richard Bresler, 17 years to get his, or maybe even longer than that to get his off before that. Horian, sorry.
I think
do you think the belts matter?
Now, no. To me, no. I've said this recently in public, but I've thought it for a long time. And I think I'd prefer to just see white and black belt. And that was it. And all competitions, IBJJF and everything, it was just beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And you could enter what you wanted.
You see that a lot more now.
But I think you should do it in the gi as well. People who do traditional shoot me down. And I'm like, I think you should. No, you don't see it in any other sport, really. I mean, look at judo when they have their worlds and stuff like that, you don't see the yellow and blue. And no one's interested. It's all black belts, isn't it? The whole thing, and that's it. And I think the master divisions are good for people who want to compete. And don't get me wrong, I think, when people are sort of coming through, the belts can be great, different levels of competition. But the ones who are serious at it, like ADCC, it should just be like that. But I think you should see that for the professional guys, the training every day. It should just be, they should be separate ones for amateurs or whatever, or just hobbyists, like you say, you just want to go and compete, that's great. But the serious guys, I think it'd grow the sport. I've just got rid of it. I just went, right, you white or black, and that's it. And you can be white for 5 years, whatever. Get your black belt, right, you're in now. You've been training 5-6 years, you're 21, you're an athlete, just go and fight with them. Because let's face it, those guys who are in worlds of blue and purple belt can compete with black belts already. They can do. They're going to smack you, like to me, 48, they're going to smoke me. These 19, 20-year-old purple world champions are going to kill me, in a gate. They'll be all over you. So I think they should, but I'll probably get a lot of stick for that.
So
for me.
Over the years, for you, it's your opinion.
It's my opinion, and people
have
have
mental. Chris's, what we did last time. Honestly,
I was laughing my head off. I was laughing. I was like, people didn't realise he's a 3rd degree black belt. People don't realise. They were thinking he was just some catch wrestling guy who was trying to shoot him jiu-jitsu. I'm like, he's done everything, mate. He's done everything.
It was mental. The response.
I was laughing.
How much people get someone else's opinion?
Yeah, it's just an opinion.
Crazy.
I'm like, now once you've got your black belt, you realise nothing changes. I got my black belt on Saturday. I was in the gym at 10 o'clock on Monday teaching a class. Nothing changed. Nothing has changed in those 6 years. So it's just the same as you're going to do. If you're going to turn up, if you're training for belts, then you're not training for the right reason.
No, not at all. No.
You should just be trained. And that's it. So.
Over the years, obviously, you've had loads and loads of training partners. Who have been the best people that you've trained with, competed with?
The best guy I've ever rolled with Dan Norris.
Yeah.
He's getting older now, but he's still on the mat sort of time. He's had more surgeries than me recently, but he's one of those guys, the quiet guys, keeps his head down, does it. But people say to me, "Oh, he must have pulled it once or twice over the years." I never pass his card.
Really?
Not when he doesn't want me to. But if he gets on topic, I'll pass yours, and you're never recovering it. You know, I've never come close to it. He's the most skillful. He's a big guy. People think sometimes when you see him, does he roll because he's a big dude? I'm like, no, he's just, his mind is unbelievable. Jack Manford, he was an awesome as well. Fortunately, when I first started training with Jack, he got older, and I loved to see him in his pomp when he was, 30, 40, something like that. I loved to see him then. In the gi, I've been on maps some really good guys in the gi. I didn't know that. I've trained with virtually everyone who's come from Grapplefest. Always nice to try and get as many sessions. A bit different now. I'm over here where I used to do an open mat and stuff when I have my own gym. Try and get those. And so I've been on the mat some world class guys. I remember Rutulos is a really good example. And he first came out with 16 blue belts. And I sort of kept up, not like carried on to it, but I was doing all right. And then he came back 6 months later, and they'd grown, they were different, they were 17, and I was just like, wow, and they just killed me. And I remember coming back after COVID, it's almost been about a year later, and I was just like, these are out of this world now, they were just unbelievable. I think they're going to get better and better and better. But yeah, there's so many. Dante,
yeah, fantastic.
Amazing, great, he can do everything, standing up, floor. I think they all can these days, these top guys.
Especially those guys, the Daisy Fresh guys,
what they're great at, I think that's really good, is that they can all teach as well. Because you get a lot of competitors who are really, really good, but they can't teach. And also a lot of them can't tell you what they've done. I've had seminars with some guys and picking them and like,
yeah, cheers, mate.
That wasn't great. I've got my photo and everything. It was great, nice to meet you. And then with rolls at the end and say they do those are good, but they're not great teachers. But the Daisy Fresh guys, where he's done one of them, he makes them. They can all teach all. And he always, when he does a seminar, he'll bring a little squad of them. They're really good. And you've done one, haven't you? You've done one, you said.
Done a couple.
Yeah, and they all teach one. Jake will get on, Pixley will get on, Spatch will get on, and they'll all teach a little segment on there. He taught them to teach. I think that's a big skill.
Yeah.
Because you have to break techniques down and understand it.
Definitely. So, you coach, different skill from rolling to explaining as you just explained. How did you develop that into being able to vocalise what you're doing? And
I literally, like I said, I fell into it really. I never wanted to be a coach, not one of those guys that I see people now and they get into like purpose and like they want to be the coach now. Like I don't get that. But it's weird though, because I was coaching when I was a blue belt, but it was more, there was no one coaching really when I was doing it, and I just coached pure beginners. So I wasn't trying to jump in and be a coach at a club or anything like that. And it was purely not these selfish reasons so I could get more training time and try and learn. And I just used to try stuff out on them and then things like that, that was it. And it just grew from there. And then I was always doing like wherever I was like teaching one class here, teaching 2 classes a week, then it grew and grew and grew. And then I ended up getting my own gym, I was teaching all the time. Then I sold the gym, moved over here and I started to, but I actually genuinely love it now. I actually, when you're getting older, I love teaching the guys and the girls and seeing them, watching them get better. And then watching them implement stuff that I taught them, I like a buzz off it now. It's my favourite thing to do, and I really enjoy it.
Really?
Yeah, I really enjoy it, honestly.
With getting older as well, obviously you're still training hard.
Yeah.
What's your recovery methods like?
That's the one. I'm very careful what I do. It used to be twice a day, this and that. I just train Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, grappling, and then I'll do weights Wednesday or Saturday or Sunday, depending on how I feel. Once a day, that's it. And my body can cope with that. So I've gone from training 10 grappling sessions, say, a week to 4. So it's a big thing, to come out, because it's once I've trained, I've got 24 hours rest. I feel fine, and I can train again. And 1 day a week, say I finish on the Friday at 10 till 12, and then I will do weights at say 10, 11 on the Sunday. That's 48 hours. So by the time I come to that, then I don't grapple again until the Monday. It works for me, and I've done that for since I came back off that back surgery. May, June last year, I've done that. That's been my routine, and I incorporate lots of stretching and some core work from my back still, and keep that up all the time, and that works for me. Because before, I genuinely think I was overtrained, and I think people still do it. And I look at the youngsters and try and say to them, "I know you've got loads of energy, mate. Well, don't this thing that people say I spar 3 times a day." They don't. And I know top guys, they might say interviews and stuff, but they don't. One will be quite hard, and the other one will be say technique, or they're just teaching a class, or they'll do your weights and stuff. You don't need to overtrain. Once you get tired, you don't have to learn, because your brain stops taking it in. You forget to, you start forgetting things because you're tired, or you think, oh God, I can't wait till this is finished, and you're tired. So I think rest is really, really important, really important. It's tough, isn't it? When you go on the it's not like, when you lift your weights, I can lift weights, the next day I won't even, it's like you're trying to lift a person, you're both butting heads. It's double the impact, isn't it? probably more, probably quadruple, you know, just smashing into each other.
Yeah, I always the barbell doesn't
Yeah, it doesn't
care if
fight
you
back.
pick it up or
You
not.
just, you know, you just do it. And then I've been doing weights since I've got a gym membership at 14 or 15 or something like that. I've been doing that for like 30 odd years, you know what I mean? So, and I don't lift heavy now either. I don't lift heavy. I do more higher rep stuff, like reps 25. So like you're really getting the lactic acid build up. I don't try and do any of those big compound lifts anymore.
So that we were speaking about earlier. With that, you reckon that's how you done your back?
Yeah, well, initially it's at deadlifting, yeah. Initially at deadlifting, then I've just managed with it over the years, long time. Virtually all the time I've been grappling about it, and a couple of times a year it's spasming up.
So what was the condition?
3 herniated discs.
And you trained solidly with that?
L3, L4, L5, and basically trained all the way through that, yeah. I literally had a physio appointment booked in the UK for like 10 years every Friday. Even if it was giving me jip or not, I went in, they'd loosen it off or they'd treat any of the bits there. I've got one here every 2 weeks, I have one now. I've just block bought it. If I get in any trouble, I'll go in another time. Just to loosen me up, the massage and this, and I'll just try and I'm just a lot more careful now. Try not to like stand or sit in certain positions for too long.
Were you trying to avoid having the surgery through that time?
Yeah, I did everything I could to do it, and it just got to the point where it just popped out.
I was just saying my L3 when I had to do that.
It's just complete, yeah, it's I had 2 discotomies and a laminectomy. And it was just, I couldn't do it. I was stuck in bed for like 6 months, virtually staring at the ceiling, so driving myself mental.
So what do you if you hadn't been going so hard, or if you hadn't kept going, do you think that could have recovered, or do you think the hard, heavy style of grappling that you were doing?
I think it had gone too far. Yeah, I just think it was one of those things, and I think the rent's going to be due. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
Whatever in your body, it's going to be if you carry on. I could have easily quit then. You know, it's just that I felt I still had more to offer the coaching, and I still miss and I still enjoy rolling. I don't roll as hard and as mental as as crazy as I used to. I'm very careful about positions where I am. I won't get stacked, I won't get inverted. If I'm getting like in a compromised situation, say like I said to you before, somebody's sweeping me these days, I'll just accept it and go on the floor. Because I'm like, I'm not going to fight this and twist and turn this weird position just in the gym to stay on top of someone, or to stay in that position. I'll just go, okay, let's go move back, let's get up. I'll find a way out. You're going to pass me guard, I'll deal with it. I'll get my guard back, I'll get back on top. And I've learned to be a bit more patient, not worry about it too much.
Do you think that with grappling's becoming way more different than it used to be? It's so much more athletic, it's so much more physically demanding, the inverting, like you just said, and all the other things kids are doing nowadays. Is there longevity in that? Or are these kids going to be...
I think to once you get past a certain age, especially sort of 40, you need to change again. You've got to change again. You've got to become like that, play that old school style of grappling. Get on top, stay on top. Try not to, try, if you've got it, you've got to try, but you don't want to be stacking yourself, having a lot of weight, spinning through, I watch all the kids doing it, and it's great. I think you can get away with it for so long, but I think once you get older, you've got to learn to accept physical. I can keep up with most of the experience and skill-wise, but then once I start getting tired and I'm just like, I'll let them have positions and just go, listen, it is what it is. You're going to have to give them these positions there. It's up to me then to get out of it. And get myself back to a position where if I'm on top side control of man, I can stay there all day, and just keep that position. So you've got to adapt. I don't think there's any longevity in playing sort of inverted delay guards when you get over 40. No jump.
So the scene is mental. There's a tournament every weekend. There's something else.
Crazy.
Do you think that's a good thing, or do you think maybe we need to get rid of?
I think there's a lot of shit competitions, definitely do, and people starting up stuff which maybe be easy to do. It's like sometimes I look at there's matches I want to make, like UK matches on Grapplefest, and then I see that I think he'll be good against him, and then I see they took the match on some show that's just started up in a working men's club. 20 people go to watch it, and I'm just like, you missed out doing what would have been a good match. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, the match was sort of thought the same as me. This will be a good match. But I think some of the guys because a lot of people want to make it into a profession, and they're making it part of themselves, and start to make a few quid out of it. Maybe they should be a bit more choosy where they compete, and what they do, and especially some of the tournaments. I go for more of the ones that are that are established, and some people chuck themselves in. Sometimes I think they compete too much. I think when you're in your 20s, you can do one for month, once every 2 months. You don't do every week. You really don't.
Do you think in the early days, so you got straight in and you were competing straight away, but do you think that's a positive thing for most people or a negative? I know in my experience, some of the lads who were white belts competing, they didn't have any game and they didn't want to develop a game because they were strong and they could wrestle the other white belts.
Yeah.
But then they've gone up to blue and purple and they've knocked that fuck off.
No, you're totally right. I mean, back then, don't forget, there was only 2-3 comps a year. So they just jumped in and did them. But, I mean, the skill, like I said, the skill level now at blue belt is ridiculous compared to what it was 20 years ago. But yeah, I think everyone should have a go at competing, but you don't think that if you don't like it, or there's something wrong with it, because there's not. Because it is a hobby at the end of the day. People play five-a-side with their mates and stuff, you know. So like, it doesn't mean you have to go and play football every single Saturday, or that's football, where you're not getting your arms twisted and your legs pulled off. So I don't think you have to do that. I do think everyone should have a go at it. I'd give yourself a minimum of 6 months training these days before you, a minimum, you know what I mean, to sort of develop a game. It doesn't really matter white belt or blue belt or anything like that. It doesn't really matter if you're winning, losing and stuff like that. If you want it, you've got to make a proper good run at things. And I think by the time you get to purple, you want to be a pro competitor, so to speak. But at white blue belt, I just get stuck in and enjoy yourself. People take it far too serious. They're doing like the Norwich Open, and they're dieting and they're putting them out. I'm like, mate, just train 3 or 4 times a week and just jump in and enjoy yourself. You're taking something out of it, if you get serious and you want to start paying money and flying to the world and flying to the Europe and flying to Pan Am, then yeah, take it. Say, well, just for a local comp, just jump in, have a few goals and go, do you like this? Because you need to enjoy competing.
Yeah.
I know people say they still don't like it when they compete, and I'm just like, that's weird to me. I'm just like,
I never liked it.
Well, yeah, if you don't like it, but why would you do something you don't like? Now I can understand you learned about adrenaline, you learn to, you can get better, but if some people, they're just not into it. I know people who competed in our gym, we have lads in our gym, train for 20 years, and you go in there and they'll just smash people in the gym, they're brilliant, but like that, I don't like competing, I'm not bothered. And these are guys, they've got good jobs and stuff, why am I going to do that? Injure myself, I'm a spark, and I can't use my arm, and they're earning 1,500 quid a week and good wages.
Yeah.
Why are we going to go fight over a £5 medal and something like that? So if you don't like it, you don't like it.
Yeah,
don't worry about it.
Do you think more jiu-jitsu than grappling? So jiu-jitsu once upon a time was up here in MMA. There was nothing else. Nowadays, forget it. Really, it's not there. Why do you think jiu-jitsu is no longer?
A lot of the jiu-jitsu guys who've done well in the UFC have really spent a lot of time in the wrestling, because they've had to change the way they are. You don't want to be back in any sort of fight, do you, or anything like that. You don't want to be butt scooting, and that's what's changed into. Grappling's changing, changing that. I mean, it's changing with ADCC. It's changing. More people are wrestling now. But if you can box and wrestle, I think you can do pretty well in the UFC or in the MMA in general. But wrestling is a dominant art.
Definitely.
It has been for a long time. If you look at it, I know they made the first UFC. They weighed it up pretty well. The Gracie family, it was a good little, it was a good little promo, and it was fantastic. And it's great that everyone got into it, and it really did take off. But at the end of the day, I think wrestling is a dominant art, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's all grappling, isn't it?
It is all grappling.
Like I just said it right at the very start of it. It's just the same. It's just that the jiu-jitsu guys played around more on the floor, and unfortunately, if you look at the real, there's a lot of takedowns. Those seem to go out the window because guards. Chris Walter said it's seductive, isn't it? You can go on the back. It's nice and easy. You can be a 40-year-old accountant. You can go, I'll just get on my back, play guard. It's nice and easy. I can go to work tomorrow. You don't have to wrestle. It's tough. You've done the wrestling class today. So it's tough. It's hard work. It's
You can't cheat it.
Can't cheat it.
So you're relatively well known for being part of catch wrestling. I know you grew up near the Snake Pit.
Yeah. Well, I was originally from my parents and that from Wigan. From up there, I went to school with Andrew, Dad, Andrew Wood, Dad Roy's Wood, like the legend. I mean, people say this to me a lot about catch wrestling, but it's not. I've never really done loads. I've competed in the Snake Pit stuff a couple of times. I trained there quite a bit with them. Jack Mountford, Darren, big on catch wrestling. They've done a lot of it. But I never specifically did it. I just did everything. We just called it wrestling. Or grappling, we just called it that, and it's just where I'm from in Lancashire. The technique I got taught and got passed down to me just was that. I didn't really know it was catch wrestling or it was this, and when I come to do jiu-jitsu and do stuff, they were like, "Oh, what's this you doing?" These face cranks and net bar, turning people over and pinning people and using stuff like that. And I just thought it was normal. I just thought, well, that's what I've been taught. That's what I do. So it's only with later people know me for that. But I've never really been just a catch wrestler. I've always done everything together. You know, it's like judo. I do bits parts of me because Jack and Darren very high. I've never done any real judo. Never formally graded in, never done anything like that. But I've got quite a bit of that in my game because Darren and Jack and people have taught it to me. But I've never really actually done a lot of it myself. Same with the catch wrestling. It's not like a specifically trained catch. And I don't do a lot of that where I turn onto my front as soon as they're in on my back. I'm not worried I'll play off my back and stuff if I am there. So it's more I've just took all the good bits from those arts and tried to put them together and just make like submission grappling with line.
Yeah.
Call what I do, which is a bit of effort. So I think it's the most dominant grappling art there is because you can do everything. You can be on your back, you can be on top, you can pin people, you can do everything. You know.
So being you're choosing your bits from each art, you're around each bit. There's loads of politics. Loads of even in jiu-jitsu, gi, no gi, or fucking out around self-defense and sport and blah blah blah.
I stay away from that.
Why is it? Why do you think it's like that?
I think when money came into it, really, when money, and then also some of the older ones, you know, the judo guys, you still see them shitting on jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
It's not as hard and stuff. I think that's because the judo, the people who do jiu-jitsu and stuff instead, 'cause it's more exciting than submission grappling. I think it was more, and then money came into jiu-jitsu, and then people, you know, because judo and wrestling were just either donations or they were for, you know, a couple of quid, and there was like boxing clubs used to be like that back in the day. When pro now, jiu-jitsu clubs are like £100 a month and stuff like that, which is wild to me. It's, you know, people paying that, but you know, and they've got 200 students. I'm like, someone's making a good living there, doing that. So, and then it's like, oh, I don't want to go over there because they'll lose my students to that club. They're a bit better than me, and I think that came into it. I think it's eased off a little bit now. I think it has. Well, yeah, no, it hasn't. It hasn't actually when I think about it. It's actually got worse, but it's actually got better. Yeah. Some people have got better and become more free and open. Some people have got worse and gone even more tight knit. So yeah, I think you're one or the other, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. All right, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much for sitting down with us. Really appreciate it, Chris.
Great stuff, Chris.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
That'll do.